By the way, Jonathan Krohn is with us, and freelance journalist and writer. He's is there a website you'd like to push people to for the work you're doing right now, Jonathan?
Yeah. I'm actually I just got a fellowship with the network Rudaw in Kurdistan, and you can check it out at rudaw, rudaw.net/English if you want to read it in English and not in Kurdish.
Okay, great.
That'd probably be better. And the new site launches tomorrow, so it's
great.
They're revamping the whole site.
We'll get that up on our website with a push to you. So for those of you who were watching this program when I was at CPAC 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I'm not sure. I was here. I've been here for at least 6 years. And this 12, 13-year-old kid comes over and says, I want to debate you, and was one of the actually few people who actually gave me a run for my money. So many of the people just have, they're fairly shallow in their understanding of issues and their knowledge of things. And Jonathan, you were one of the smartest guys. You still are one of the smartest guys I know. You were. I really enjoyed meeting you. I really enjoyed debating you. And welcome back to the program, first of all. But secondly, you're not here to debate me as a conservative any longer.
No. I don't like to give myself an ideological label. I like to think I'm more left than right, but I feel that personally it was a lack of maturity to think that I could know everything at the age of 12, and I still don't know everything.
Well, can I posit something for you? I used to own an ad agency. I used to teach advertising. I've been in the marketing world for 30 years on and off. The primary message in good, effective advertising, good and effective advertising, of course, communicates, but in mass market consumer advertising, the main message is you are the most important person in the world. Right? That's the main message that the advertiser conveys to the person that they're advertising to. It produces an infantilism. It produces I'm the center of the world. I'm the most important person. And at its core, that's the message of libertarianism and conservatism, is that if every individual thinks of themselves as the most important person in the world and pursues their own self-interest, then the world will be a better place. This is...
Yeah. I mean, I think that for me, it was something that was very safe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up around conservatism. I grew up in a conservative household. I grew up around conservative friends and conservative church and all that.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a lot of people challenging those views.
Right.
And I think for me, it really was when I took an opportunity to just not take myself so seriously,
mm-hmm.
to let myself think and mull over the things that I had written in the past and talked about in the past, and just think for myself and read other things that weren't necessarily politically related, like philosophy and so forth.
Right.
It was when I started doing that I started to realize, it's not really about one ideology or the other. It's about what's right and what's true and what actually is correct.
And what works.
Yeah, and what works and what's pragmatic and what's real.
And I would say the main left-right divide in my mind has historically been a we-me. Either it's a we society or it's a me society, and which is why I was mentioning the infantilism and this. But we're digressing into philosophy here, I suppose. So you're going to Kurdistan?
Yes, I'm leaving for Kurdish Iraq in May to work out of Erbil, or Hawler as it's said in Kurdish. But that's where Rudaw is based out of. That's the capital of the Kurdish regional government.
Wow.
In Iraq, and so
it's amazing stuff.
I'm excited to go there.
For 30 years or more, I've worked for an international relief agency as a volunteer, and have gone into a whole bunch of weird and awful places around the world. From I was mentioning the Karen refugees on the border of Burma and Thailand to being in Uganda during the war. But the guy who founded the organization, his name was Gottfried Mueller, and he designed what was at 10 years ago anyway, the modern flag of the Kurdish resistance movement when they were fighting against Saddam. I don't know if it's still their flag or not.
You mean the star?
It's
yeah.
He designed that flag years ago.
That's the main star. That's the main flag of Kurdistan as a nation.
Yeah.
That's the national symbol. There are different flags for different groups, obviously.
Yeah. He was good friends with. He was a German spy in World War II, and he was parachuted into Kurdistan. And he knew the Kurds, and he was going to try and help them get the oil for Hitler. And he parachuted into a British camp. His brother was a very aggressive peace activist, and he had been starting to work with his brother, and he got outed, and so he got immediately arrested and spent the rest of the war in a prison. But it was really that's a whole long story. I wrote a book called The Prophet's Way about his life. But in any case, I have a special place in my heart for Kurdistan because of all the stories I've heard from Herr Miller over the years.
Yeah, I mean it's a very interesting locale, and I think that for a lot of Americans, it's hard to understand because we don't hear about them that much.
Yeah.
You know, we don't hear about them. They're kind of
that?
put to the side, and I think Northern Iraq. It's also in northern Syria,
southwestern Turkey,
exactly,
southeastern Turkey,
and northwestern kind of Iran.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that entire region.
So I'm curious your thoughts on CPAC. Here we are. It's been all these years. We've debated each other.
Yeah.
But, it's
every time I've been here.
Yeah. Until now.
Until now.
So
this is history in the making.
Indeed. In my mind, coming to CPAC is kind of like going to the zoo. And I don't mean that in a dismissive way. It's just it's like, wow, there's so much going on here. It's so interesting. There are some people who are kind of like going, just funny. But there are a lot of really serious people too.
Well, I mean, the way they organized the media this year, they have like a pin for the media. So I mean, I understand the zoo metaphor there as well because the last panel they were doing, it was just making fun of everybody that's in the media, saying American journalism's dead, journalists are terrible. That's literally, I mean, those were the comments they were making about us, who they're like, I don't know, they're probably maybe 100 or so of us. There are a ton of us.
Who's the they who was saying this?
Joel Pollack from Breitbart, and I don't remember the other guys.
Breitbart's the media, or at least they pretend they are.
They claim they are, but they say they claim they're journalists,
Yeah.
But that's
the only real ones.
I don't get how you can say American journalism is dead and then promote your site as real journalism. By that token, you're just saying we're real journalism because we agree with this and we don't agree with you, so you're not real.
Yeah,
it's like the whole real America, fake America thing.
Yeah. It's something though. To I guess we all have to own up to this on both the right and the left. I mean, the main message of Fox News is don't trust the rest of the media, and frankly, one of my main messages is don't trust the rest of the media. And I think that it's because. And they have a point here, starting in '86 when Reagan blew up the Fairness Doctrine. The Fairness Doctrine had nothing to do with if Limbaugh is on, I have to be on. What it said was that if you carry over the radio or television airwaves signal, you must perform public service, and that was news. And that's why all the news divisions lost money, because they actually did news. When he stopped that, they all came under the entertainment divisions. They're all now driven by ratings. It's all about eyeballs and Balloon Boy and
Yeah, you got to. I think nowadays you definitely have to be aware of bias, and you got to be able to discern what things are biased and what things aren't. You got to choose for yourself.
And I think even more importantly, not just bias, but the stupidity of infotainment. But Jonathan Krohn, once again, the website.
Rudaw, RUDAW.net/English.
Thank you, Jonathan. Great to have you.